Hello, what is up? Alright guys, so thank you everyone for playing EX, and I've heard some good and some bad from the mod, and so I'm hoping to address that in one more patch before Evo, because I don't want to change it too much. Obviously there's going to be a lot of changes, yeah, so let's go over it. So yeah, let's see, just give me one sec. Alright, so for me to keep track of everything, let's just start at the top. So we got Chumlee, Chris, and Trish. So there's going to be a lot of small and big changes. Just depends on what the character needed based on what I've heard or what they don't need. So for Chumlee, I think she's in a really good spot right now. But I just want to give her maybe a little bit something more, not game breaking or anything. So basically what I did was I just gave her the ability to input Kyoenken, or Kikoenken, the move where she cancels from H Fireball to H as its own input. So you can do that with attack plus S. It's a nice change just because I know that there's some people who kind of have some frustrations with being able to double tap this move, and sometimes that it whiffs. So basically it's just a little more consistent combo wise. So I think that'll make a lot of Chun players happy. And another thing too is it actually negates projectiles now, even the regular version. There, see, like that. Yeah, so you can either use whatever version you want, whether the H double tap version or the attack plus S. Same result. So it's just a little bit extra for her to kind of deal with zoning, which, I mean, I guess she doesn't have that big of a problem with, but it's interesting for her to have something like that, just because this attack doesn't do anything too much in neutral anyways. It's just a combo button. And there's still a lot of startup, so she can't totally spam this against Astral Vision or anything, so she still has to be careful. And then her super move, this main super, Kikosho, I lowered the juggle height a little bit, so you know I'm actually going to show some DHC synergy real quick. So I've heard from Eldon, Arithmatic, who plays Chun Strange, that once he brings Strange in, there are some DHC issues. where I guess Spell of Shanty will pop them up too high. Most of that's on Spell of Shanty, but some of it's also on Chumlee. So it's pretty consistent now. I'm pretty sure you can do this from a hard knockdown anyways. So I think Strange actually has a weird juggle type. Let's try this on Ironman. You might have to wait for the bounce. Yeah, right there. Pretty sure I fixed that. See, I can't lower it too much further, otherwise the combo just kind of doesn't work right. Yeah, see, there it goes. Yeah, Strange just has a weird juggle height. But beyond that, I know that's not the main way Strange players DHC into that anyways. They'll do like flame loops. So it still won't work at a max height, but if you wait a little bit for them to drop before you input the super. So you kind of have to leave a little damage on the table, but it's like 20,000 or something. Ultimately, there's not much I can do except for making Spell of Shanty juggle really bad, or not bad, but just lower, and I don't want to change that really. I did lower it, but only like 2 points. Let me just show you guys. Yeah, so, fuck. Oh my god, seriously. Sorry, guys. Do you recover? You have to take my word for it if I can't pull this off, because I want to get through this. This is not the biggest change happening. So, in my testing, I'm not going to go over it anymore, but in my testing, it has helped, but yeah, I'm not sure if there's much I can do for that. But if I can fix it, I will. So let's look at Chris now. Trish. And then Amy. Even though it's a really small change. Alright, so Chris, I need a character that can do this. So his forward stun rod also destroys projectiles, like Chumlee. So I've learned some knowledge about how hitboxes work and how that interaction functions, so I decided to add that in. Yeah, so you see how he destroys a projectile now? Again, much like the Kikoken, whatever, there's still a lot of startup, so it's not like you can just spam this, but it makes it a lot more useful in neutral anyways. So you may be able to like negate a fireball and then cancel to Magnum or something. Even though Magnum is already pretty good at doing that. It's just an extra thing he has now. I figured why not. So Flamethrower was changed from down back to back, so it's basically back to where it is default. The reason is because his back grab wasn't working correctly. So yeah, it's just back to default, because until I can figure out a workaround, Chris players are just going to have to just plink with a different button, which I think they do anyways, so it's not a big deal. And then his full screen Magnum confirms got a little better. So if you actually do that, you have more knockdown time that you can dash up. Before you kind of need specific assists to really make it work. And you don't have to use Magnum either. You can, use machine gun. So you get a little bit extra knockdown time, which is nice, because I think that's one of his main weaknesses, is being able to confirm this pretty reliably. Now, I didn't do anything to the air version, because there's nothing I can do, unfortunately, without making it an infinite. And I didn't want to just raise the ground bounce height on that. I don't know, I just didn't want to do that, just in case it ruins combos. or spacing. So yeah, you can pretty reliably do confirm. You still have to learn how to plink dash though. You can't just do it really lazy. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep the skill gap intact. So what else this is used for is, let's say he does just a basic old combo. If you actually end your combo with the grounded version of Magnum, if I can do this right. I know you can do this. Just try to scroll. Okay, there you go. You can actually chuck out a grenade and then use grenade launcher pretty consistently. That's another one of his weaknesses, where the ice grenade wouldn't really work unless you have a grenade already out. And in some cases you need an assist to do that. But this time you can actually do it solo if you somehow manage to keep your wall bounce. You can do that into this. I fuck up. Yeah. So. Sorry guys. Seriously. Wow, and then I can't cancel. There we go. Yeah, see how the grenade hits? So definitely more consistent in terms of being able to end a combo with grenade launcher without an assist. So if you save the wall bounce and you manage to somehow link this like Chris players should, then you'll get that combo every time. Except right there for some reason. So Trish. The only thing I'm adjusting for her, so before I had her hard knockdown time increased, which allowed hard tags, which is really cool. But it was kind of broken because she has the ability to set up unblockables with her round harvest off a knockdown. So by increasing that time, it doesn't allow the opponent to really tech forward in time, and they just get opened up too free. So I didn't want to make that too easy. So the opponent can still roll forward and then, you know, push block or whatever. So I just didn't want to make that too stupid. And then I managed to make some custom projectile entries, which means before I only had her the light version of air voltage work as an OTG, but now I have the medium and heavy versions working as well without interfering the ground version. Yeah, so, yeah, basically if you want to do a combo, you can do the H version now if you want to. So, the reason why you'd use the light version over the medium and the heavy is just because it's faster recovery, so that's really the only difference you'd see. But you trade damage, basically. So, just a little extra boost. Plus, I didn't like how only the light version would OTG. I wanted to make it consistent. And that's it for Trish. So I think Trish is also in a really good spot. Amy hasn't seen any other changes except that in the patch or in the mod that I released, I nerfed her Okami Shuffle in terms of frame data, where I reduced the gap where the lightning strikes hit. So that basically the frame gap between the lightning strikes and the lightning bolt at the very end, I widened that gap back to default. just because with how much bullshit there currently is, I didn't think it was very unfair to nerf that team hyper combo for no reason. But I still kept the damage buff intact, so it still does more damage than default. That's it for those three. Let's get on to some more interesting things. Zero, Tron, and then Morgan. So Zero got a couple nerfs, but nothing too far-fetched, I don't think. Playtests have indicated that it's all pretty fine. I even had this in earlier preview videos where his damage was slightly nerfed, so I just went ahead and did that, just anyways. So the minimum scaling on specials was lowered 5% as well as normals. So I mean, Zero is still Zero. He'll still do a shitload of damage. Good neutral, etc. It's just a little toned back from where it was. I'm not going to bore you with lightning loops, but yeah, it does affect his damage. It takes it from like, you know, 800 to 900 on the lightning loop to about 750 to 800, something like that. So if I can at least land it once. If I can't, oh no, fuck it, I'm not going to try. Okay, and then his Haden Genki durability was also lowered. They all have 3 durability, but I lowered them to 1. And the reason for that is because Zeros are using Haden Genki plus Buster anyways. And Buster has 3x3, which equals 9. And then plus the Haden Genki is 12. So what I did was I nerfed it to 1, meaning that it does 10 now, 10 durability points. Which is pretty important because some moves have 10 durability. Such as like Chris's Machine Gun, Doctor Strange Mystic Sword, Rocket's Log Trap. So basically he doesn't get to just control neutral for free as easily. Buster's still really good, of course. But yeah, I mean, you're still going to want to use Sogenmu and just get double the projectiles anyways. So instead of it being like 24 durability points on the ground, in Sogenmu you get 20 now. So there's not much that can actually beat 20 anyways in the game. So that's it for Zero. So Tron is pretty sick now, in my opinion. She still is who she is. So one of the main things I heard was that her lunchtime super wouldn't actually happy birthday. So basically, if they called an assist, it would just totally fuck up. But now it actually works. See, you actually see it hits both characters now. Or whatever, yeah, so the bots will still only summon though. They'll still only summon though if it hits the point character. So basically if it happy birthdays, it will actually work properly. So I think that's a pretty fair change, to be honest. Just because of just how, like, weird this projectile is in general. So I think that's cool. So I gave her a new input. So she can call her lunch rush buddies as a single group with reverse dragon punch and then an input. So LS, MS, and HS all do different things. So the LS version has a 3-hit version, MS is a 4-hit version, and the HS version has a 5-hit version. And they're also delayed at different versions. So you can actually summon them for different timings. You can also confirm with grabs, depending on the one. So the H version has the longest delay. At that. They are not lows, but they are OTGs. So there is a weakness to this move, however. If she gets hit by an attack, they disappear. And I felt like this was very necessary, because if you just spam the H version a bunch, then you basically just get free combo breakers. So you see how they disappear. So the way I imagine this being decent is if you use it with an assist, and then you like basically cover your approach like that or something. I don't know. I think players can get pretty creative with this, for sure. And like I said, they all spawn at different times, so there's actually some cool stuff where you can do, like, you can call the bots, and then you can actually combo confirm with the capture state. So I'm sure you can come up with some pretty creative things like that. And you see she has like a different animation from anything else she has, which is something I kind of hacked together, but it looks pretty cool. So yeah, that new input is just something extra she has, adds a new dimension to her play. And here's the damage too, raw, if you guys didn't notice. So that one does 65. This one does 75. And this one does 102. So, it's pretty fun. I think it's just fun fucking with, because you can get some interesting looking things going off of it. The other side. It's the same thing. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too, is if you do like cross-ups with it, it'll kind of like hit them back into you. To make a hard tag situation out of this, I'm fairly certain you can do some kind of hard tag. So yeah, and because it only disappears when she gets hit, she could like call them and then tag out, and then they won't disappear because she's not available to be hit. So there's some tech right there. So the only thing for Morgan is there was a bit of a bug on her animation. So it was going over 50 frames, which is the standard I'm setting for the meter builds. So all that I did was just fix the animation, so it should properly match now. Again, let me know if there's any issue there. Let's go over Shenko. Only a few things I did for her, and then Felicia. And then Hagar, which is some really cool things. Not much, but cool, and it should help them a lot. So I was looking at Shenko, and I noticed that if you plink dash a lot, you can actually create some really stupid ambiguous mix-ups where you just mash it and it'll just randomly 50-50, like you don't even have to try. So what I did was I changed the teleport animation to be on frame 10. I had it on frame 7 before, and just for reference, the default is on frame 15. So it's still 5 frames better. So it's still much more responsive than before. And you can still kind of like, you can still plink dash, obviously, but just don't do it insanely fast. So just like space it out a little bit. Just because I was really worried that someone would just like use gold armor and then call an assist and just spam this, and it's just too easy. And then I've also heard complaints that her S was, I actually had an EX where she would dash forward, just by inputting S, so I just put it back to default. So if you guys complain that she can't convert combos, then screw you, because he told me to change it back. So let's look at Felicia. So one of the moves I see that's super not really useful is Neko Punch, where she does roll into punch. And I just made it so that she has more frame recovery, or less frame recovery, sorry. So she has more frame advantage. So she can pretty consistently combo with Stand Light if she happens to land that move. It's just all in the name of making a move not useless. Yeah, so you can use it now in combos rather than it only being useful on big bodies. And her uppercut was also buffed. I actually had it so that you could combo already, but it was too specific. So I just kind of made it look just a little more user friendly. I know I talk about making the game not easier, but in this case, it was just one of those frustrating things where if you ever go for it, that the drop rate is too high that you'd never use it. So I wanted to make it useful. And so because her damage is buffed, which I will go over why, I made her Cat Spike M no longer crumple. Because, yeah, her damage is really good now. Which I'll explain why it's good. So I just figured giving her crumple is a little too overkill. Especially because she can hard tag from this move now. With the OTG character. Because it does a hard knockdown. So I think she's fine in that regard. So it also doesn't ground bounce on standing opponents. It will ground bounce on airborne opponents. But the reason why I did that is because you can actually use it to combo. See how you can actually blink? So you don't need like any ridiculous hit stun. It already does it for you. Yeah. So you can definitely confirm it and not waste a ground bounce if they're, if they're standing. So that's one thing. And then I've also heard some issues where her dancing flash super, sometimes the opponent would drop out in certain positions or off certain DHCs. So every single hit except the very last one is a soft knockdown. I'm not really sure how to simulate this, but take my word that I changed all the values to a soft knockdown except the very last hit. So if you're looking to DHC with her, do so before she hits the very final strike. Okay. I'm still unsure on this change, so please don't hold against me if this doesn't make it in or if I do something else with it. But her kitty helper meter build is reduced. And like I was saying about how her damage is buffed, is because I was made aware that there is a new loop for her with kitty helper, where she'll basically do this into Toy Touch. And just repeat it over and over, so it's kind of like a death loop. And it's really good as a DHC, and it's also very solid just by itself. So to balance that, I just made her meter gain a little bit worse, so it's 50% while the kitty helper is active. So you can see how much meter I build right there. You know, it's 10 hits is about a quarter of a bar or so. Maybe less than that. And then let's summon the kitty and see what happens. So there's a very noticeable difference. And the reason why I went this route is because I think the damage is really cool. I think the loop is really cool. But it was, from what I was seeing, it was way too meter positive. And just keep in mind that Zero's lightning loops is not as meter positive as it was before, so I think this is all pretty relative. And again, I was basically seeing one rep of this off a DHC do about 1.2 million. So that's it's very, very good. It's only 2 bars. And another route I'm thinking of going instead of meter build loss is less duration on the kitty, but I think that kind of hurts her actually more than meter loss, simply because I see people use this in neutral to open people up with, and I don't want to make it shorter. So that's my reasoning on that. So Hagar, probably didn't get enough love in the last version, so I made his pipe destroy projectiles. And it should count for the air version as well. So now he can actually work his way in a little bit, which I think is a really good help to him. So you gotta respect the pipe even more now. And now he has armor on Violent Axe, but not the light version, because it's pretty fast. So on the H version and the medium version, he has armor. Now it's not active frame 1, and it doesn't last the entire time. It's active from frame 10 through 20, and the H version is 12 through 30. So you can see how I did it too early. Or too late, I should say. So you have to time it. Like, you can't just do it, you know, randomly. But this should give you the opportunity to kind of get through things and combo a little better. So that's it for Hagar. And I think those 3 things is really going to help him. Now, speaking of Jill, I definitely saw that video of the loop. So let's go over that now. So, this loop is really fucking stupid, so I totally nerfed it. So I basically changed the knockdown, or the distance the enemy, the distance traveled has been increased. So there's really no way you can convert off that. The most you can do is if you throw them into the corner. Oops. So you can still, you know, convert off it in the corner. So really what this tool is, like why you would use it over just doing her basic combos, because, I mean, she has so many different conversions now. Would be if you wanted to do a side switch of some type. Like that or whatever. So that they come back into the corner. But basically you're not allowed to do this mid-screen anymore because it's just too stupid. She has enough damage as it is, so she really does not need this. And that was not my intention to make some loop that lasts 20 seconds. And it builds meter and all this shit. So that was a nerf. However, I did buff her by making position exchange actually really good in terms of frame advantage. So I guess there was only like a 1 frame link. Now you can pretty reliably combo off pretty much everything. So if we add her to auto guard, so she always guards, so we can link a standing M now. use stand light if you're not confident. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this move is definitely more useful now because it's not like some ridiculous link that you have to hit. It's a little more lenient. Yeah, so there you go. Oh yeah, she's always had that grab. We just never see it. Yeah, but it's 850k without burning meter, dude, so it's just really stupid. I honestly don't think it's very fun to do either. It's just the same limit, same combo over and over, no variation. And so Mad Beast is pretty good, but I also decided to nerf the meter build on this just preemptively because it only costs 2 bars. We'll see about this. I'm just a little worried that you can basically do it. You can keep linking Mad Beasts into Mad Beasts, because Corky J came out with a video where you can basically keep them in block stun forever, even if they push block. See, everything negates push block. So you could basically just keep doing this and then build 2 bars and do it again. So that was a basically a predetermined nerf from which I could see the potential bustedness of. So let's talk about Firebrand. Firebrand's also pretty decent as is. I mean, he already was strong, so there's not much to talk about there. I just wanted to give him a little more utility with his flight. So what I did was I made his flight last longer. Also, the speed at which he flies is a little faster as well. And the acceleration at which he gets his max speed is a little faster as well. So it lasts longer, so you can kind of stall in the air with it a little more if you wanted to, even though it's still probably useless. Just a little better, I guess. Just because he doesn't have many other movement options besides his dashes, which all go down. So. Also, his Chaos Tide was still costing 3 bars to activate. It didn't drain 3 bars, but it required, it still required 3 bars to do. So I fixed that issue. So it only costs 2 now, as it should. And there's some other things that I'm working on that aren't ready for me to show. But one thing I do have is that it's his Fireball assist has six durability points, so it will go through a normal Fireball. And I'm probably going to do this for more Fireball assists just because they're different from beams in every other way. And honestly, I don't think his Fireball assist is the best neutral assist anyways. But it's just a little bit extra. So 1 extra durability point on the assist. That's Firebrand. So let's talk about Magnus. The only thing I did for Magneto was Gravity Squeeze could no longer be negated by an assist. I need the 3 bars. Because if you guys weren't aware, now I'm still suspect on doing this because this is actually quite a nice buff for him. But if you do a happy birthday, it would previously drop, and now it doesn't work. so it should hit consistently now. It doesn't put Morgan in the capture state move, but at the very least, she doesn't break the combo. That's all I have for Magneto. Let's take a look at Hulk. Ironman. And then probably the most controversial character, Phoenix. There's been a lot that's been done for Phoenix, so I'll go over that in a sec. Okay, so Hulk is just some quality of life things. His ground throw recovery was reduced by 5 frames, so just a little bit easier for him to convert ground throws. Honestly, I don't even know how people do this. Yeah, no, it's back out. So yeah. Basically, his recovery is a little better, so you can call an OTG assist, which I'm pretty sure you can already do already. But here's basically why I did this. Is I made his Gamma Wave Tsunami actually wall bounce, so that he can do grab conversions solo without having to call an assist. You put in a normal size character. Because converting off grabs is very difficult for him without a very specific assist like Spencer or Sentinel. So in order to convert, you just dash forward, jump, and then use your air buttons. So you can see it's not totally free, but you just mash it, that should work. Same thing with air throws too. See? So basically, I didn't want to give him meterless confirms from throws without an assist, because I think that's just too ridiculous. You guys all know his damage output is really, really high. And he kills most of the cast without spending meter. So for him to convert without assist, you have to spend bar basically. Thor has pretty much the same exact thing, if you guys notice with his Mighty Thunder. So I just gave that basically to Hulk as well. Corner is a different thing entirely, but I'm pretty sure you can actually convert off throws solo in the corner, right? With your stupid spacing techniques you Hulk players use. I'm not a Hulk player, but just because if you're cornered and you use this, it's not really gonna, well, I guess it does work. Spacing is gonna be dependent. Yeah, it works, but you see how that scales kinda? Let's see if I can link a different button. Yeah, I'm sure you players can figure this out. Why can't I link? Oh, you can't link stand M to H? That's fucking whack. You know what, there's another Hulk buff. Can't believe you can't link that. Okay, I'll put, just because that's a really frustrating thing from, you know, and it's a quality of life change, I'll make that live for the next version as well. So, and this does burn a wall bounce, but if you're ending your combo, again, I don't really know how to do Hulk combos. Let's see, which one's the wall bounce? I can't remember. I don't even know. But if he uses a combo, the KBR combo, where he does the wall bounce, and then he brings him to the other side, and then you end it with Gamma Wave. You guys know what I'm talking about? He may be able to get in like an extra dash up H or something, but I'm not sure what else he can get off that. Oh yeah, stand light and stand L. Yeah, so if you want to burn meter, you can definitely do so. Yeah, yeah. So if you end your combo with this into stand H, which I see him do pretty frequently, yeah, you may be able to get something off that, but probably not much. This also buffs his incoming mix-ups. So let's say he does his little thing in the corner that does the wall bounce, and then he does this, and then he ends it with that. Because they bounce back to mid-screen, he's going to have a little bit of a better of an incoming mid-screen, because otherwise, I'm sure you guys know, it pushes him back full screen, and then you can't really do anything on incomings. So this should be a nice little quality of life buff for Hulk there. And then the other thing I have going right now is if you hit attack S, you will get Gamma Wave M. So that should really help his neutral game. I didn't want to do the H version because full screen, no charges is pretty cheap. So, I mean, because you can just walk forward and input this now. See what I'm saying? And even this might be too much of a change, but it was suggested to me to try it. Just because I think this is a really good projectile. I think it's really underrated. So him being able to use it now without charges is pretty strong. Hulk strongest there is. And yeah, I could make it like LS do the light version, MS do the M version, and HS do the heavy. But like I was saying, I just don't think having a full screen heavy version is the best option there. I think it's just too good. Oh, like a tiger knee? Oh yeah. Yeah, you can tiger knee it. See right there? It's kind of difficult. There's a little bit of a time window. But yeah, you can do it for show. That's going to be a really good approach tool. You can do it backwards as well. It's not that I lose to full screen Gamma Wave, it's the fact that if they call an assist, they just body the assist like this. And then if you try to approach from the air, then he can just super, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if he could already buffer a charge while doing a dash, then he can do it now. So there's no change there. So Ironman, I've heard some decent feedback, some rather good feedback, a lot of positive, a lot of negative. So I decided to go into a bit of a slightly different direction with him. His movement isn't going to change or anything, but what I'm doing now is I'm actually allowing him to convert ground grabs. So I lowered the distance on his grabs, and I also increased the knockdown time. So you can actually convert off all throws. Yeah, so a little more consistency on the ground. I don't care. That Joe loop is still fucking retarded. Just visually, it's stupid. And it's too easy. I'm just not a fan of it. Sorry, buddy. Also, his super jumps, air throws were removed with all the dashing changes. So now I actually gave him a conversion. So you got to input flight, and then, well, you don't have to input flight. There's a couple different ways you can do it. So it's all in your preference. I think the easiest way right now is just dash down and then just dash over. That's the easiest for sure. Yeah. So yeah, you can convert off air throws now, which it was definitely an oversight to not give them that ability to, when you could do it with worse movement. So you should have no problem converting off pretty much anything now. And then I also made the crouching heavy missile no longer OTG. I think there's not much reason to have it OTG anymore, just because he can convert off throws with smart bombs, and I wanted to give people a reason to actually use smart bombs still, rather than rely on this. So I also increased, or lowered the recovery of his heavy smart bomb and his medium in the air, so you can cover it a little better. I guess a lot of players in the old version, they will do this, and then they'll use a stupid wonky air movement to dash down. And because you can't do that as good, I suppose, I made the recovery less so that he can get down a little faster. And so with that said, the OTG removal means that this has much better hit stun, because it's no longer attached to any kind of infinite. And also the juggle height has been improved as well, so you can actually kind of dash up confirm now, which I think in the default game people would use the really slow ass missile to like flight cancel, but now you can just like dash forward with planks. You know, so it's a better mid-range tool in general, I think, than just having it as an OTG. Yeah, so I think it has more applications. Plus, if you have an assist that can like OTG or something, and you use this, you should be able to get more out of your combo than before. So, yeah, I think Ironman's in a very good place now. He just needed those few adjustments to make him a little scarier. Yeah, so I think Ironman's pretty cool now. Oh, another thing too is his Jump S had lower knockdown properties than other characters, so I improved it so he can actually hard tag to like Dr. Noon. None of these characters are good at doing hard tags, so I can't really explain it. This will actually enable him to hard tag to Frank, which I can show after I show Phoenix. So yeah, he can hard tag Frank in now from this combo, which obviously you can do it from, you know, stuff like that, and be able to get a hard tag. Just gonna put you in timeout, buddy. Yeah, I would say Iron Man is more mid-screen because he doesn't have Magnetic Blast to cover from full screen, and his smart bombs in general are shorter range. This is a little shorter range too. I mean, he does have these unibeams, which is nice. But yeah. And he can cover distance very fine now. In any case, I know there's people who are very used to the old Ironman and don't want to see change. But if you play Infinite, Ironman's going to be very different there as well. I think it's just better for everyone for him to have more consistent movement than something that only like 3 players know how to use. So let's go over Phoenix. So I actually made all of her assists default. The heavy version of shot was really too good. I like the idea it represented, but you can actually set up unblockables with it on incoming because of how slow it was and because it tracked and hit meaty. So it pretty much did everything you would want. And then overdrive assist is probably the most retarded assist in the game. So I just made it default. And it's very good. You see how it negates projectiles? So I think just having it go full screen was too silly. Way too silly. And then you could actually stack traps with the new trap assist I gave her. So I actually lowered the duration so she can't stack them. If you play default, if you play EX right now, you can actually just keep spamming this and you'll get like 2 traps. So it's more balanced for sure. Okay, so let's talk about her on point now. So I lowered her health from 850 to 800. Not a huge difference, but enough, I think. She's probably top 1 in the current build. So what I did was I changed how Healing Field worked, because I think that's one of the strongest aspects to her, is being able to use Healing Field. So what I did is I kept it the same as a 1-bar super, but I lowered the duration of the super from 600 frames to 300, and the hitbox is also removed, and it's more like double trigger now, so basically she heals on her own without needing to engage the opponent. So you notice above the hyper combo gauge there's a drain, meter drain now, and you see how our red life also heals on its own. So what this is a very good install super. Right? It's a safe install super that you can use. The reason why I got rid of the projectile was because I couldn't figure out how to make the healing duration or the healing rate not super insane. And I was tweaking it so that I could maybe make the sphere last not as long, but I still think it was too good. Plus, the sphere has a very annoying graphical effect where essentially she could do mix-ups and you kind of can't see what's going on. And I think a character of this caliber honestly just didn't need that, especially because she makes so many top tiers really strong. So basically Healing Field is a very good install super, but it's not overpowered, I think, but we'll see. Also, she has no meter gain. She has no meter gain while in this mode as well. The meter gain was just too strong, especially because her meter equals Bionic Arm. The Phoenix version of Bionic Arm. Yeah, and it's twofold. It's visibility reasons, and because the projectile itself was the thing that caused the healing, and that healing rate was way too fast, and I was not able to figure out how to change that. So I think just in the name of balance, it's better. Now in terms of getting some kind of visual aura, I can work on that next. But you can see there's a bar above her hyper combo that tells you it's active. And it's pretty obvious when she does the super because you see this animation. Oh shit, it crashed. Doing too much. Like never happens. So anyways, let me show you some random synergy with Ironman. Yeah, so you can hard tag Frank now. So he kind of has a Magneto synergy combo thing going on. Except what's awesome is that Iron Man's THC is really good. Especially because it's soft knockdowns, so this is definitely a huge buff for that team. And I know people think of Iron Man as a support character, but he's actually, with all these buffs to him, he's actually a very good point character now. Yeah, so there's a level 4 combo off like a very stupid combo. It's not even optimized. Yeah. And of course, Dr. Doom can hard tag as well. Or Virgil. Whatever your favorite. I just happen to get all the characters that are drop out of Doom's stand M combo. Ugh. Let's see, I can't remember if Spider-Man works. And of course, fucking Spider-Man. Yeah, I picked all the characters that drop. But you see how the stand M connected. That means it works for most hitboxes.
Welcome to the world of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where the finest heroes assemble.
So let's look at Storm, who I think is very good, but Fnatic has informed me there's still some quality of life things that needed to be addressed. X23 and Ghost Rider. No Wesker changes, and no Frank level up changes, because that's too big of a change. So I made Storm pretty ridiculous. Fnatic was wondering if I could make her cancel window on her dashes the same as Magneto's, so I went ahead and did that. Her cancel window for most of her dashes was 6 frames. And Magneto's is like on frame 2, and I tested frame 2 and it was kind of not working as expected, so I made it 3 frames and that seems to be fine. So basically her cancel window is a lot faster. It's like Magneto style now. I guess that would kind of hold her back as being a better point character, so. And then there's some other quality life changes, such as the hit stun, startup, and juggle properties of some of her moves. So I basically allowed her to enter flight mode off almost every single hit. That's because the hit stun between jumping heavy and jumping light was really, really terrible. So if you do like, you know, your basic combo, I can just do it. Let's just... to fucking... Sorry guys. There we go. See how she gets a flight combo now? So that's very good. She also has super jump conversions now. See? So you just gotta stagger your H's a bit. So she gets like a type of ROM loop now, which she probably didn't need because she already had a lot of good stuff, but I think it's cool. If you don't get Tiger Knee H, you can do like ROM stuff. Even off super jump, or even off an air combo. See? So everything is really more consistent for her. Yeah, so you can do a bit of a ROM now. Okay, so here's a really, really cool change. Oh, before I get into that, if you use 3 actions in the air, you actually could not float, so I fixed that. So after you use 3 actions in the air, you can float again. If I don't screw it up. See? So now she can actually properly float off whatever you do now. Okay, so here's pretty sick. If she does her Elemental Rage and it whiffs, this projectile will stay on the screen for 300 frames. And I raised its durability up, so basically it'll eat a bunch of shit. Also, I tried float cancels in combos, but it was way too good, man. You could just do S, 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 S a little too easily. So let's say like Nova does his super. So not every super will defend against, but a lot of them will. Let's try Dante's. Yeah, see how it eats that? It's pretty sick, huh? Just because, I mean, you're basically trading Hailstorm for this move, so I think players should have some incentive for using it. So you can maybe use it off a DHC of some type. Like, let's say you, you want to DHC her in some kind into more of a defensive type of thing. You know, that's your option. And it does have one active hitbox on it, so it will only do 1 hit. So it does 1 hit, and it doesn't do anything else, but it will still stop projectiles. Yeah, see, it still stops projectiles. And yeah, basically if Morgan's using Astral Vision, you may be able to use this to hide underneath it and stop projectiles from coming at you. So, like I said, you're trading meter for Hailstorm, which is her best super. and you're getting no damage out of it. So the glacial attack. So yeah, that's Storm. And it has also been brought to my attention that X23 can't convert from forward ground throws, so I fixed that as well. So she can do it from her other throws, obviously. Oops. That's back throw. So you theoretically call an assist right there in OTG. And you could do the same from forward throw now. Like that. That's it for X23. I think she's a very good character right now. So I didn't think I needed to do much more for her. Ghost Rider has been, there's been a lot I did to him. So the thing about Ghost Rider, I still did not think he was very viable, even with the changes. I thought all those changes were just kind of very mid-tier style changes. So let's talk about what I did exactly. So his crouching M travels further. See how it goes further now? So it's a better poke tool. And of course it links into your chains. I like how we can see the edge of the screen. That's tight on the stage. So basically this is a little better. Also, the initial standing heavy chain, the knockback was lowered a little bit. Just a simple quality life change. This is probably ridiculous, but I think it's fair because it's still Ghost Rider. He can instant overhead with jump H. I was looking at this move a little more, and I noticed that it actually cannot hit ground opponents. So I kind of wanted to fix that. Let's make him crouch. So it even hits crouching opponents. But here's the thing about Ghost Rider, right? He has no mix-ups. I think his only lows is a stupid light and then this crouching heavy. So this is not a low. So that being a low, which you cannot spam, and this being a low, these are all reactable buttons, and he cannot jump cancel anything. So it's not like he's like doing this into some kind of stupid, you know, instant overhead thing. It's more just of a solid neutral tool. And yeah, it's all reactable. I mean, if we look at characters that have really good high-low games, there's better characters than him. But really why I did this is so that you can actually hit behind him. See how it hits behind? It's pretty good. So I gave him new inputs in Hellspire. So he has back H, right? Back H. Now he has back L. And see how it goes further? And now he has back M, which goes behind him. Now you might be wondering what's the point of this. It's going to help against teleport characters. If I can set it up correctly. So if he predicts that there's a teleport coming, then he can use this. And he can use it to protect himself. Also, why would I want this button to exist? Because of Astral Vision. And I wanted to give him some protection to fireballs that come from behind. And I will show why that works in a second. But let's go over some of the new combo tools he has as well. So new combo tools. What can you do now? You can actually link a combo from the L grab by linking standing light, or I think you can even do M. So because this move is actually a combo ender, and it doesn't do anything, like you just do that to that, which is stupid. So I actually made it a combo button now. And that's not all. You can use this to start your combos, and then you can use this to extend. But it only really works in the corner. And you can also, it's very difficult to link stand H from that, and I did that for a very good reason, because I was finding that there was not an infinite, but a very dumb loop, where he could just do standing HH into this over and over. So instead, part of the reason why I made this crouching M travel so far is because when he does this combo, now he can actually combo from it, which he previously couldn't do before until I buffed that crouching M. And so you can do a bit of a loop, but it doesn't last as long as when I had it before. So this may become like a certain type of B&B for him. You know, in the corner, of course. You know what I'm saying? So basically mid-screen, he can do a little bit more than just, you know, chain into that. You know, you can actually pull them towards you. So, that's not all. His bike super has also been buffed a little bit. So if he's doing the bike and he uses H, I allowed him to self combo. So there are spacing requirements. And this is for the H follow-up version. So you have to use bike and then press H, and then you can get a combo. Like that. Now that's not the only one. I made them all slightly different in their own way. So if you use the light version, which is the super fast one, I made the hard knockdown, or I made the knockdown time really, you see how they pop up higher than before, and they're slower too. And he also recovers midair. See how he recovers midair? Probably not the most useful thing, but it means he can block in the air, which is important. So if he wants to use it, he can block out of it now. But it's also very good to DHC into like Frank West or Doctor Strange, because that longer knock-up gives you more time to set something up. You know what I mean? Which I can show you. And then the M version, not much change there. He can recover from the air again, but also the knockdown time was increased. And I'll show you why that's pretty strong. So let's just go ahead and pull Doctor Strange since I'm at the end of my changes. And let's put Frank in, and then Doctor Strange. Okay, so let's say you're doing your little combo here. Not the best example. Oh, seriously? You can DHC to Frank, and because of that really long spin, you can get a level up combo from. And for Doctor Strange, you can use the M version in DHC, and then set up a Grace in combo. So there's different reasons why you'd want to use each different bike now. L is good for install supers, M is good for hard knockdowns, and H version is good for converting solo. And then he has the S version too, which there's no changes done, because I think that's just the most damaging version. So I think he does recover from the air. Yeah, he does. To be honest, I couldn't even find where the S version was kept in his animations. But yeah, I think that one does the most damage, that's why. So yeah, he's definitely a lot better. So there's some Ghost Rider Frank synergy now, which I'm sure there was before. Just a little better now. Oh, and there's, you know what, there's a change I totally forgot to tell you guys about. This is pretty good now. So let's say he calls like a meter assist, or sorry, a projectile assist. He can negate projectiles with his chains. This is quite a big change. So let's just show some examples. Put 0 in there, Morgan, and Plasma Beam. Alright, so let's try and set something up. Something like that. Right, some stupid combo, or whatever, neutral. So he can use his M chains to negate projectiles in the air. So he can basically stop Zero's favorite angle of attack. Yep, just like that. And now let's look at Morgan. Let me try that again. Something like that, right? So he can use the back H or back M version to destroy the projectiles behind him. And then you use an assist in front of you to try and help with the projectiles in front. So he still doesn't have enough recovery to actually deal with front and back at the same time. I was experimenting with that, but it seemed a little too good in terms of like just being able to spam it. Because you can already spam this move pretty well. There's a lot of good frame data on it. But basically I want players to have a choice where they can negate the ones behind them and then use like an assist to eat projectiles from the front. So it should really help out dealing with her a little bit. And again, you can use this to negate the projectile. Which, although it may not be the best in Astral because you have fireballs coming from every direction. But at the very least, see, you can actually get a trade. It's also good against teleports too. Let's see him to set this up. So you can like preemptively suspect a teleport like Virgil to protect yourself. And because it hits meaty like that, you can actually probably confirm, which I'm trying to do now. So it's pretty solid. So there's that usefulness there. And again, let's say we have 0, right? Charging Buster. And then he calls Plasma Beam. Now let's try that again. Right, hella projectiles. You can use M-chains to totally screw over who's trying to do shit. It's not perfect, but still very strong. So you just need to be able to predict. Yeah, it's really strong though. Sure, you gotta predict it, but it leads into a full combo. Otherwise, I'd have to change the frame data for this move, and I don't want to do that because the animations will look retarded. Honestly, I think that's good enough, considering you can use it. So let's say he doesn't call Doom's Beam Assist, and just does it on his own. I'll try that again. Right. See? There actually is a lower half for the heavy version of Hadan Genki, that's why there's a second part. And again, this is going to have a lot of applications for anti-air projectiles. So you can't really approach him with a projectile as easily. You gotta change your approach. And yeah, he does have a relaunch combo, by the way. So he has a lot more tools. But again, his mobility is still kind of bad, except for this. But being able to dash forward into pressure is kind of difficult for him. So yeah, he has that instant overhead. He's got confirms now. His bike is very useful. So he's definitely approaching more complete. So I'm pretty sure I've been over. Oh, there's one more character. Just in time Punisher. Yeah, Hawkeye. So there was one angle of attack that Hawkeye could not approach from the air, and that was down forward. So by using triple arrow, but with S, so quarter circle forward S, you get triple arrow angled down. And it was just pretty sick because I was able to find an animation that actually worked. Basically I copied Poison Tip and put that there. Also means if you use the cancel tool from his flip, you can actually combo like that. So no, it does not OTG. I don't think it would be very... I don't think it'd be useful at all as an OTG. I mean, it'd be something. But why not just do that? Why use the effect just to show a difference? Oh, you mean... Oh, I see what you're saying. For that. Yeah, I'll do that the next patch, or when I release it, I'll do that. I'll fix that. Anyways, the concept is working. Well, sure, you can Tiger Knee it. The problem is not getting a super jump input, which kind of happens sometimes. Yeah, it's interesting because depending on where you're jumping, the arrows will kind of stack themselves. Like that. So it depends on your momentum. Yeah, so full screen it does hit. So that's pretty much it. There's still things I need to fix, but I wanted to update you guys and let you know that there's a patch coming. So that's it for now. I need to get back to working on the mod, and I can't exactly stream when I do that. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned.